from Rapid Response 47, the press secretary, on this past weekend's winter storm. The president continues to monitor the situation closely. The president also quickly approved 12 federal emergency disaster declarations within 24 hours, enabling these states to access critical federal resources to supplement their response efforts if needed. And it kind of begs the question, I mean, look, this is bad timing for Democrats, it would seem, because if they vote no to fund DHS, then they're effectively defunding FEMA, which it would seem to me that that FEMA is sorely needed right now because over 200 million people were affected by the winter storm. As of this morning, over 800,000 people still had no power, and we've got this deep freeze happening all across the country for the entire week. So it seems like it'd be kind of bad timing for them to start defunding FEMA. At least one would assume.
And as much of the country feels the impacts of that winter storm, President Trump continues to monitor the situation closely, and he has remained in constant contact with FEMA and emergency responders. President Trump also quickly approved 12 federal emergency disaster declarations within 24 hours for the states of Arkansas, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia, enabling these states to access critical federal resources to supplement their response efforts if needed. These declarations will help state-led efforts of turning power back on, clearing roads for emergency services, and keeping communities safe. The White House will continue to correspond directly with governors and local officials in the coming days, especially in those states that were harshly impacted by this storm.
Yeah, I just hope everybody's okay. I mean, I hope things aren't too bad, and everybody's staying warm as one can possibly be. I mean, like I said, I live in the state of Florida, so it's cold here. It's cold by our standards. It's like 48 degrees here right now, and I think it's like Wednesday or Thursday morning. It's going to get down to 30 degrees here, which is only 2 degrees away from our all-time record low. I think our all-time record low for my area was 28 degrees, which was set like way back in like the 1920s or something. So I don't know if we're going to get that cold. The last time it snowed here was in 1977, but there's no snow in the forecast. I'm pretty sure there's not. That'd be absolutely wild. All right, so NWS Weather Prediction Center, latest update on the dangerously cold temperatures impacting the eastern U.S. through this weekend. Lowest temperature through February the 1st, and everything above this pink line will be continuously below freezing through February the 1st. And it looks like in my area, it's going to be like around like 30, like in the 30s. But yeah, everybody else, I mean, like everywhere in purple, negatives, and like over -20 up in the northern areas. Looks like Wisconsin, they're going to hit double-digit negatives. Even like patches of like Indiana, Ohio. So very cold, very dangerously cold. And yeah, I'm sure the wind chill is going to be brutal. I don't know if it's supposed to be windy up there or not. I mean, that would just obviously make it much worse. So NWS Weather Prediction Center, again, potential is increasing for another significant winter storm to impact the eastern United States this coming weekend. It is too early to know the details, but please keep updated with the latest forecast this week. So the eastern seaboard, they're going to get hit with a double whammy. They're going to get another winter storm this coming weekend. And let's see, moderate impacts. So this isn't snowfall amounts or anything. This is just the chance of at least moderate winter storm impacts. And the yellow is 40%. So it's not on this side of extremely likely, but they're just saying that there's a chance that there could be a winter storm along the eastern coast this coming weekend. So it says what we know, continued very cold temperatures will blanket the eastern half of the U.S. into next week. A high-altitude disturbance will dive out of Canada Thursday and deepen across the east by Saturday, leading to a strong surface low-pressure system. The surface low interacting with very cold air mass will result in widespread heavy precipitation. Damn, dude, that is nuts. All right, so what we don't know, the placement, strength, and timing of the disturbance from Canada. Freaking Canadians, man. All right, so the timing, track, and strength of the surface low, which will determine the precipitation type, which would be rain, snow, or a mix, and how much precipitation occurs onshore. The impacts to travel and infrastructure due to snow and wind is not known yet, so I guess keep your eyes peeled if you live there. I mean, look, everything that's colored here, there's got to be over 100 million people that live like in this area, so it's going to affect a large portion of the population this weekend if it does piece itself together and into this like strong low pressure system on top of our frigid ass temperatures. Okay, so General Stephen Nordhaus, Winter Storm Fern response continues with over 5,400 National Guardsmen activated across 15 states. The National Guard is always ready, always there. And this was posted 8 hours ago as of this recording. Currently, as of right now, my time, it's about 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And this is from the North Carolina National Guard on call during Winter Storm Fern in support of local agencies. North Carolina Guardsmen assisted a stranded motorist to turn around and immediately rolled to a second call for a stuck 18-wheeler. Whenever we need y'all are always there, said State Highway Patrol officer. So we got a video here. Oh man, that sucks. All right, man. God bless the National Guard. That is miserable to be out there, and they've got families of their own. And I'm sure they, of course, they live in the state where they're serving. At least I would assume that they are. I mean, like maybe there's some that may have been deployed to other areas that are in more dire need. Maybe like Tennessee. I keep hearing Tennessee. At least electricity-wise, Tennessee was hit the hardest. All right, FEMA Region 4, trucks loaded with generators, water, and emergency supplies from the FEMA Distribution Center in Atlanta are supporting the response to the winter storm in Mississippi. Additional support from the U.S. Forest Service will provide cut and toss teams to clear road debris. They've got a couple images, power generators, and the whiteboard. Getting all their supplies together, getting ready to roll out. And General Stephen Nordhaus, again, the rapid response of these Texas National Guardsmen and their seamless teamwork with local first responders showcases the commitment of thousands of guardsmen nationwide who have answered the call to serve their communities during Winter Storm Fern. Always ready, always there. And from Texas Military Department, Texas Army National Guard soldiers with the 176th Engineer Brigade assist local authorities in recovering an overturned 18-wheeler on I-10 near Sonora, Texas during Winter Storm Fern. So we've got a video of this as well. Yikes, man. I can only imagine how many of those happened. I didn't come across anything as far as like pile-ups or anything overly dramatic. And not to say that didn't happen. Like I said, whenever I do research for the episode, I stick to the federal government specifically. So I don't really stray off and look for any other information in other areas. So there's probably reports out there of some nasty situations on the highways. At least, I hope not, obviously. All right, so in North Carolina DOT, you're probably seeing roads clearing up. Our crews have worked around the clock to make that happen. As the water refreezes tonight, a new danger emerges: black ice. If you need to be out tonight or in the morning, take it slow, especially on bridges and overpasses. They've got a video of this as well. Got to be careful of that black ice, man.
One of the most common and dangerous winter weather culprits is black ice. It's hard to see and can make a driver lose control of their vehicle in the blink of an eye. Black ice is a thin layer of ice on the road. Contrary to the name, it isn't really black. The layer of ice is so thin that you can see the pavement underneath it. Black ice can form on concrete pavement too. It's more commonly found on elevated roadways or bridges. It typically forms as snow melts and water runs across the road, refreezing at night. But lawn sprinklers, water line leaks, and runoff from properties near roads can also lead to black ice forming. It's not uncommon for drivers to have clear roads, but still hit a patch of black ice. The real danger of black ice is that drivers can't see it. If they don't anticipate it and don't practice safe winter weather driving techniques, they can lose control of their vehicles and crash. NCDOT does its best to treat areas that it knows are prone to black ice. Most of the time, bad areas are reported to NCDOT by law enforcement and citizens. To treat black ice, NCDOT uses its dump trucks and spreaders to apply road salt. Motorists can make their trips safer by reducing their speed and increasing their following distance. And as always, the best driving practice in winter weather is to stay at home unless it's absolutely necessary to drive.
Absolutely. Yeah, just be careful out there. Gotta watch out for all that black ice. It's definitely could be a very dangerous situation. Governor Mike Braun. And, oh, no, didn't mean to do that. All right, so I've requested and received approval for an emergency declaration for all of Indiana. An emergency response declaration is necessary to address ongoing and future response efforts to this dangerous storm and to protect Hoosiers' lives as conditions worsen. Thank you to the president for your support and approval of this important declaration. It wasn't necessarily his post was the reason that I grabbed this. It was because of Trump's True Social here, which he says, I have just approved emergency declarations for Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, Maryland, Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Indiana, not India, and West Virginia. We are working closely with FEMA, governors, and state emergency management teams to ensure the safety of everybody. Stay safe and stay warm. And that was posted earlier or over the weekend. It looks like that was on Saturday at 4:42 p.m. All right. And rolling on to the next. Rolling on to Homeland Security. Together, we will meet any challenge. President Trump, Secretary Noem, and FEMA are partnering closely with state governors to provide the support they need to respond to this winter storm and protect our communities. We are grateful for the overflow of cooperation and support we have seen from the affected states. We will continue to work around the clock to overcome this storm together. And that's from Georgia, Governor Brian P. Kemp, and Indiana, which we already read that one, and Mississippi, Governor Tate Reeves, and we got Sarah Huckabee Sanders from Arkansas with a few posts. Just stating that she's communicating with the Arkansas National Guard, Secretary Noem, just all the agencies needed to coordinate with. And is there any more? Yeah, it looks like. Okay, so we already saw that one. And West Virginia, Governor Patrick Morrisey, Louisiana, and Governor Abigail Spanberger, Virginia, and Governor Henry McMaster. And all right, so anyway. Everybody getting the assistance that may be desperately needed, depending on how hard you were hit by Winter Storm Fern. The FAA weather and air traffic professionals are monitoring the winter storm around the clock to maintain the safety of the national airspace system. For real-time airport updates, visit fly.faa.gov. Airports and airlines, we're sharing your updates to keep travelers safe and informed this weekend. Have new info? Tag us or drop it in the comments below. And where did that go? I didn't see where that popped up. Is it over here? No. What the hell? Where did it go? All right. I guess I'll just have to click on it again. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that was it. All right. Duh. Anyway. Yeah, so it shows all the closures, the scheduled flights and everything. National Airspace System status. And that'll be linked. And we've got a video here. De-icing. Safety during winter operations.
Hi, this is Joshua at the FAA Command Center.
Hi,
When winter
Joshua.
weather strikes, airports and airlines face significant challenges. Snow, ice, and freezing temperatures can delay flights, impact airport operations, and create ripple effects across our interconnected national airspace system.
Ooh, it's pretty.
To ensure aircraft safety, runways, taxiways, and ramps are cleared of snow and ice, and aircraft are sprayed with de-icing fluid to remove and prevent ice buildup. Winter storms and winds may reduce pilot visibility or aircraft performance and require changes to standard flight operations. Air traffic control plays a key role, implementing initiatives like ground delays or reroutes to maximize efficiency while maintaining the highest safety standards. Even with these efforts, patience is essential during winter operations.
I was just going to say that at the end of the video.
Always our top priority.
So have patience if you just happen to see this clip. Just be patient. Just know that they're doing their best to get you to where you need to go. Hopefully you don't have to travel anywhere this week. I mean, it'd be one of the worst times to travel, but that's to be expected. I mean, we're in the latter half of January. I mean, we're in the dead of winter right now. Okay, from the FAA, another one, and replying to FAA. Oh, okay, actually, you know what? Here, let me do this, because they have a couple of follow-ups. FAA Weather Squad's Jamal Lofton has the latest on this weekend's winter storm, and ice could cause flight delays and cancellations in the southern and eastern U.S. Okay, so this was back on January 23rd, so this was ahead of the storm. The same with this one, too, so, this one was from yesterday, though. While you slept, our team has been pushing snow. Most flights have been canceled today. More details at this link. Anyway, here, let's do this. Plowing the snow off the runway. Looks like a whole nother planet. It's like some Star Wars shit. Man, those clouds are huge, man. Of course they're huge. They're plowing runways. Man, oh man, and like in the middle of the snowstorm too. Just as soon as they get done sweeping the runway, it's probably already accumulated snow again. So it's just like a nonstop effort, it would seem. All right, so what do we got next? So this one was 12 hours ago at the Akron-Canton Airport. Winter weather is no match for our team. Working around the clock all weekend. This dedicated crew ensured our runway stayed safe and operational throughout the storm, keeping our community flying. All right, so we get the idea. You know, they're cleaning all the snow off the runways. All right, so let's move on to another one from the FAA from 9 hours ago. So this was today. The winter storm has passed, and now airport recovery operations are underway. Airport crews are de-icing planes before takeoff to keep flights running safely after snow and ice. While it may cause delays, it's essential for safety. I think we already saw that. Did I already read that too? I probably already read that. All right. Anyway, move on to Secretary Chris Wright. Coal is powering the nation when it needs it most. In Biden's America, coal would have been phased out, leaving millions of Americans without power and at risk to outages without secure, reliable power to keep families warm in harsh temperatures. See that? I don't know a whole ton about renewable energy, wind and solar, but I know like during times where they can't collect the energy if there's no wind or the sun's not shining bright, you know, they have to rely on backup systems up to and including battery systems. I can only imagine running heating systems would probably be a really heavy drain on batteries, on having to rely on that for backup supply, especially when you're dealing with sub-zero temperatures. So this is from the Wall Street Journal, and of course it's going to paywall me, so you know there's not much I can do. Oh, you know what? Actually, no, hold on. I forgot I did this earlier. I actually left this. So from yours truly, thank heaven for coal power. So let's take a look. This is the exact same article. I just grabbed it from the paper instead of, because, you know, I knew I was going to get paywalled ahead of time. Forgot about that. All right, so the weekend's Arctic blast has put much of the U.S. grid through a stress test and served as another alert about the growing risks to electric power reliability. Americans can be grateful the Biden crowd didn't succeed in forcing all coal plants to shut down. The North American Electric Reliability Corps warned in November that extreme weather conditions extending over a wide area could result in electricity supply shortfalls. That's what happened. Frigid temperatures supercharged demand in areas where Americans use electricity for heating, especially in Texas. In the Northeast and Midwest, where more people get heat from natural gas, less fuel was available for power plants. Add weather-caused plant outages, and you have all the ingredients for a grid emergency. Grid operators, the utilities, and the Trump Energy Department had to pull out all stops to keep the lights and heat on for tens of millions of Americans. Utilities in the Midwest on Saturday directed customers to lower thermostats, unplug non-essential appliances, and reduce temperature settings on electric water heaters. Hope you enjoy lukewarm showers and curling up in a heavy coat with a book. The Energy Department also waived emissions rules so fossil fuel plants could run at maximum capacity. Early Sunday morning, coal accounted for some 40% of power in the Midwest's MISO grid, or MISO grid. 24% of the eastern U.S. PJM interconnection, and 18% in Texas, with most of the rest coming from natural gas and nuclear. New York's blockade on gas pipelines has constrained the fuel supply for power plants across New England. Power plants in the region had to resort to burning oil, which accounted for 40% of electricity at times of peak demand. Get this, the region generated more power from burning wood and trash than from wind power. Imagine that. The climate crowd claims that solar, wind, and batteries can replace fossil fuels, but those sources contributed little power in most places over the weekend. Wind and solar aren't reliable during inclement weather. Batteries can discharge power only for a few hours at a time, which doesn't help much during a storm that stretches for a day or two. Like I said, man, having to use batteries for something like a space heater, that's just not going to work, man. It generates way too much electricity to make that feasible. The deep freeze energy scare underscores why the Energy Department issued emergency orders in recent months to stop the political closure of coal plants in the Midwest. The grid needs all the coal power it can get when temperatures plunge or skyrocket. Environmental groups have challenged the department's orders. Is the goal to reduce carbon emissions by making Americans freeze? Yeah, that's a fair question, isn't it? I would think so.
If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Check out The Swamp, Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern, with segments dropping on the daily. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.